Good evening.
Good evening, Paul.
Welcome back to
That's a
episode
great
2
intro.
of Knights of the Zoom Table. I'm Paul. I'm joined by Sir Dilliam, Sir Jonathan the Mulaney, Joe, Sir Nobrim, and Sir Branford of Foldston. How are you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic.
Pretty jolly. How are you, Paul?
All right, no one said swell.
I'm doing really chivalrous right now.
So, as our well-versed viewers may know, today we have a couple of talking points, as seen here. So, I want to kick things off by open forum question here. What's your opinion on simping? Good, bad, evil?
So I think this is where the death penalty can apply.
Well, that's next. That's next.
Uh-huh.
Don't give
Oh, my
up too
bad.
much. Relax.
My bad.
It's actually not in the talk points for tonight.
Yeah, we're trying to stay safe today. Which brings us
Yeah,
to
that
Dylan,
happened
our
to our
resident
babies.
safety officer.
Like Dylan's frozen.
Oh no!
The safety officer.
The
I was
safety
going to
officer.
tell the
Hold on.
director when
So, Derek, you said you
Is
had
he
an
still
opinion
here?
on simping.
Yes, I do. I think this is where the death penalty comes into play because it's just unacceptable.
Wow.
I think
Oh.
simping is insanely frowned upon.
That's
all
just
I'm
a
gonna-
simple
I don't
way of
know.
putting it.
I think if you're...
you gonna play devil's advocate here.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to say if you're a good simp and if you're able to succeed where others fail...
I'm back.
I know him.
I don't. Oh, what's your definition of a good simp?
Yeah, what
So-
makes somebody a good simp?
I would say... So, what's the end goal for a simp, right? What would you say
A
is the
bootang.
end... There you
Wu-Tang and a female.
And a good simp is someone who's able to procure said things.
But then you're not a simp.
Yeah, but then they shed the simp title because a
Yeah.
simp gets nothing in return.
Mhm.
So if
Mhm.
they're getting something in return, they're no longer a simp. It's the paradox of the whole thing.
It's more about the action of simping than it is being labeled simp.
True. Who
But
was-
then again, if it results in them getting them, then their actions were never simp worthy because
Then the
wasn't
title is it's strip from time. They were never a simp.
It's
yeah,
retroactive.
they were never. Yeah, they were retroactively
You weren't-
unlabeled as simp
Yeah, it's not in the canonicity anymore.
because at that
Exactly.
point we would just applaud you for your job.
Exactly.
I concur.
So is this the modern equivalent of the if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, did it fall? Is this if you get the poot tang but nobody knows, are you still a simp?
No. Simp is only if you are unsuccessful.
If a simp
But
sits in
no
a
one
forest and no one's
knows.
around to hear it at all.
Hold on.
If a simp sits in the forest.
If a simp simps on Snap and no one's there to see it, is he a simp?
No,
A simp
because no
simp
one's there to
is a
see
simp.
it.
Because
your
no
quote of
one's
the day.
there to see it.
Just like the tree, there was no eardrums around to hear it. There was no person to visualize and see.
There was
Simping,
no
so
sound.
therefore-
There was no simp.
Therefore, there was no simp.
I tend to agree, yes.
I think if you can only be able to simp if you do it in public.
Okay, but if you're a bad simp, right, and whoever you're simping to ends up posting your simpery on their private,
Well,
what
that
next? What happens next?
Here's the thing. What qualifies as a bad simp?
And what makes
Are you
yeah.
bad at simping
I
or are
think
you like
A
doing
bad simp
way
is
too
like
much?
someone who does so much that the
Well, I
person
think-
they're trying to woo just gets like
you're
overwhelmed.
looking at it as a spectrum here, but it's more black and white. I think you're either a simp or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but there is the gray area where you are simping, but the gray area kind of leads up to that black and white area where it decides whether you
Yeah.
are or you aren't.
Mhm.
Right.
Because I mean, like, there's a fine line between being creepy and then being
Like
a
you.
simp.
But if someone had a chance and then that chance disappears, but they also stop simping, then were they a simp
Dylan, is that from
if
past
they
experience?
had that chance?
That's a good question. Bold take by Dylan.
Our podcast safety officer.
Yes, the podcast safety officers bring some great points to the table.
Dylan, can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, repeat
I'm
your
sorry,
question.
I was gazing into my own eyes. I'm sorry.
So, if simping, when they have a chance, and then something happens, let's say they're off the market now, and they stop simping, then were they ever a simp since they did have a chance?
Yes.
I mean, at that point, you're just a loser.
Yes, because you were unsuccessful, therefore making you a simp.
But I think it goes back to the argument that if no one's around to see it, you're not a simp. And I think
does she tell her friends about your simping activities?
Yes.
No one really know that.
It's Schrodinger's simp.
Schrodinger.
So I think if the simp was revealed, then yes, it's simping. But you can't simp if no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone over there is just a secret simp.
I don't think Derek said anything in a while.
What? Someone? I just agreed with Dilliam.
I just realized you changed Derek's name to Sergio of Mama.
So our next
are we
big
still
thing.
on simping, or are we moving on?
I mean, we could still talk about simping.
I think let's just find a clear definition that we all agree on, and then we can move on. Right?
It's a great idea.
So if you unceremoniously shit in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And no one's there to hear it, right? And you did it, right? It's on the leaves, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you're all done. You've wiped and everything, and now you're done, right? You've left the forest, right?
Yep.
So someone comes up and they step in it. Was it you?
Well, yeah. Objectively, it was you.
But they don't know that. They don't know that.
No, that's the thing, though, is
just
that
because someone doesn't know something doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Wait, Paul. That that explanation makes zero sense.
Yeah. I want you to think about it. It's on the ground. You've done it, right? And it's just laying there. It's stinking. Yeah. You can smell it, right? And then they step in it. Did you do it?
Well, you don't even know that you did it.
I know for a fact I didn't do it.
That's kind of faulty because saying that you did it, but then going back on...
No, Chris, you don't understand. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
What exactly are we asking it got done? It being there being you, or them stepping in it was your fault?
No, because
for Brandon's brain to handle.
Hypothetical that
I just think that
you didn't do it even though you know you did, but no one else does.
You've taken a complete, monster Duke.
Why are we making this about shit?
To the point, Paul.
Is this related to simping, or are we just...
My point is that if you're simping, right, and everybody knows about it, because it's the smelliest thing in the forest, right?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be a forest. It can just be a floor. Let's be real.
That's getting cut out.
right on the welcome mat.
But it's square on the sidewalk at this point, right? How does somebody know that it's not their dog?
A dog
or a bear?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the old saying: "If a simp simps in the forest."
Is he simp?
I guess that brings us to our next point. We're all here. We're all social distancing. Big quarantine day, right? And we've got nothing to do. Sports have ended, and we're all in a period of the world is on pause.
Disarray.
Right? Complete disarray.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your go-to shows to binge watch while you're in this state?
I'll start, I guess.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. I've been big on the Disney Plus circuit, lots and lots of Star Wars Rebels and lots of Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Yeah, you can just leave the Rebels out. It's just not quality Star Wars.
Well, that's where you're wrong, little ginger.
No.
Ooh.
No.
Wow. This might be
the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars really revolutionized the film genre.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rebels is shit.
Yes.
But objectively
speaking, Rebels
where's the argument here?
Just the afterthought.
Yes, it's supposed to be the afterthought. It comes after other stuff.
No, like just
Yeah,
like
after
after
Father's-
everything.
But in terms of Rebels has
like-
cool moments and Rebels has cool things that is going on, but as an entire arc and as an entire story, it's kind of lackluster.
It literally goes the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Rebels.
Okay, so
Wow.
Hot
take.
spoiler alert, I have not watched Rebels. I've watched like the first
so your
two
opinion's
seasons.
irrelevant.
I've watched
so,
I
like,
watched the
you
first
wanna
like
just mute him.
2 seasons of the regular Clone Wars.
So we've sent Henry to the waiting room.
Wow.
Wait, why are you presenting?
I am. Wait, are you? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No, you got rid of
Anyway.
Yeah.
you
All
got
right,
rid of
so,
So
you got rid
let's
of
have
anyway,
the
back
adults
onto our
talk.
discussion. To me, I don't really like Rebels because, and here's just me saying it, the animation isn't that quality.
Yes.
compared
It's
to
not just the
Clone Wars.
animation, but you don't feel the connection to the characters that you feel in Clone Wars. Like Clone
Well,
Wars,
but
you
you
like
also have
those
to
characters.
realize that the Clone Wars characters were developed from almost over 10 years prior.
Yeah, that's why it's better.
Well, but if
But-
you
but
put
that's
down
not-
that wall and you kind of just
But wait a second. That's not the job of the Clone Wars itself. It's because they're well-known characters because they were in other popular Star Wars media.
Not necessarily. Rex
But
was
you gotta remember,
exclusively Clone Wars. Ahsoka was
Vader-
exclusively
Rex was
Clone
not
Wars.
Darth Vader was
exclusively
in
Clone Wars.
Rebels.
Rex was
We're not-
mentioned.
and
We're not counting that.
was a
No.
lackluster character.
Who?
I think Darth Vader was lackluster in Rebels.
Wait,
Oh, yes.
Rex was in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, that's my point. Thank you, Brendan.
Yes,
Thank you, Brand,
mentioned,
for the
but not
Folston.
not as a main character.
I'm sorry,
None of the
did he not
clones.
try
None of the
shooting at
clones.
Rex was
Wait,
never a
Kenobi?
main character from the start.
but none
He
of the
was
clones
always a
are.
supporting character.
None of the clones are a main character in the mainline movies because it's not. The movies aren't about them.
No.
Clone Wars is
It's
like
not
their
there's a movie
spin-off
called
series.
Attack of the Clones or anything.
But they're not the main characters of that
You
movie
could have put
either.
any other word in for clones, and it would have been the same movie.
It could have been
That's
Attack of the Sand, and it'd be the same movie.
Gets coursed it's everywhere.
It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere. I get your point. I completely agree.
So you're
And
agreeing.
going
Rebels
back to what Paul was saying, Darth Vader, the whole character is supposed to be like menacing, and in Rebels, you just don't feel that.
to me, Darth Vader, I don't know, he looks skinny, like a beanpole. Like you could push him
like
over.
he put on some weight
Yeah.
between Rebels and New
Like,
Hope.
He just like in the movies, he just looks powerful, and in
Tall
Rebels,
and menacing, absolutely.
he looks like Anakin, but like a little skinnier, and he's got like the skinniest lightsaber known to man. It's like a pencil.
I
Well,
will
This is Rebels Vader.
The Rebels.
This Rebels Vader, just skinny and useless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Rebels does not do a good job with lightsaber animation. I'm not going to lie.
Ow.
There.
It's like
Ow.
ow.
The main reason why I enjoy it is because it's a continuation of the story.
Yeah, and
But it's not a good continuation. Do you
And I-
enjoy the
I wanna
Phantom
say
Menace
that-
because it's a continuation?
even though the animation and his design is kind of flawed, anytime Darth Vader is on screen in Rebels, it's a good moment thematically and a good moment story wise. And it was kind of bad when he left the show because all of his moments were good moments.
One main moment I'd like to bring up is when they're in the Sith Temple with the Inquisitors.
That was a
Mhm.
good one.
That's a good moment.
That was the best. That was the peak of Rebels. I'm not going to lie.
That and it's same episode, but Ahsoka and Darth Vader.
yeah, that
Yeah,
scene
because it's
that
2
scene was
episodes
good.
back to
Yeah.
back. Very good episodes.
So Henry, now that you've sat in the corner for a little bit, you want to tell
dare
us
you.
about
How
want to tell
dare
us
you.
about your favorite quarantine show.
I've been watching the shit out of Paw Patrol.
What is up
And
with the
back he
language?
goes.
My goodness. Oh, man.
I'd like to go next.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Derek.
So, obviously, The Office is a go-to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Office is great and everything. But another show that has just come to Netflix is Community, which has been great.
I've been watching so much of Community. Community was actually going to be the show that I was going to talk about.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Oh,
I lo-
ears.
I love Community.
All I hear is Community.
Wait, have you guys ever seen Community?
I am on season 1 right now, but I have been enjoying it.
Yeah, I also like it. It's about these people who go to a community college and they have a study group for their Spanish class. But one of the people who's a lawyer who got his license revoked, so he goes back to get classes for that. And it's a comedy series. It's by one of the creators of Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon, and it's a pretty good show. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover is in it, so it's a pretty good show. You should. They just got added to Netflix. You should check it out.
I agree with Brandon.
I agree. That sounds like a good show, especially with Dan Hartman too.
And it has a lot of meta commentary in terms of its comedy, and it's a nice style.
It's not as outright funny as The Office, but it has its comedy in different ways, which is great.
Yes, it's a lot of references in its comedy. So if you get the references, it's funnier. It's a funnier show.
To me, I've never understood like the appeal of some of The Office's comedy. That's a bit of a because half of I think we could agree here that season 1 was kind of ass.
Oh yeah,
season 1 is season 1
because half of the time you're watching Michael cringe, and it's just like
season 1 is trying
to follow British.
Yeah, they were trying a lot to be the British version, and
as we all know, British people are bland.
Well, no, it's
quite agreeable.
It worked. It worked over there, but as
boring
across the pond.
God, you imagine being in Britain, being like splendid, yes. Oh, funny, quite a funny one.
Splendid, mate.
Quite funny one.
And we pull out, season 2 forward, and they're like, "Oh, it's just rubbish."
I mean,
in season 1, they weren't letting Steve Carell be Steve Carell.
Yeah, they were really limiting him.
Yeah,
that's a fair statement.
So,
and I feel like they let it run for. They ended it good when they ended it good, but when Michael left the show, it wasn't really the same show anymore.
No, it really wasn't.
I kind of liked certain episodes. Like,
there's definitely some good ones.
Robert California, hot take. Some of his episodes were actually pretty funny.
Kevin and
they have funny episodes, but I think
I get what you mean though.
It kind of lost its charm as it went on.
As a whole, it just wasn't the same.
It got very repetitive, if you will.
Yeah. It was like the same type of jokes, just like reworded a bunch of times.
I liked the last few episodes, though.
The last
where they tied up all the loose ends.
The last episode definitely is a
like that's a tearjerker
episode.
So Henry, after spending some time in the corner, right? You're on thin ice here. What's your favorite quarantine show?
Can we talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Because I have some questions. I have questions.
Go ahead.
I watched.
Take them out.
First of all,
where did you start?
No.
I was very confused at the overly sexual shit.
It's a bizarre adventure.
It was quite a bizarre adventure.
Adventure.
It's an anime. You should expect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at that point, feet to the fire.
I just searched it up and I watched the first 2 episodes of big muscly blue hair guy.
He just goes
living in the 1400s or something.
Yeah,
JoJo.
You're starting at the wrong part.
Right?
I'm going to be real with you.
Right. So then I was like, okay, this is confusing. Do I go back? And then I watched some shit with.
Whoa.
I watched some horse hockey.
Safety officer.
I watched another thing with another JoJo guy with the Yankee with the brim.
Uh-huh.
And he's going with his dad.
Yankee with brim.
Okay.
And there was JoJo, and there was the fire guy, and then there was Plant guy, and then there was French guy.
Uh-huh. All right, so
I forgot their names.
For our audio listeners who've never experienced Japan, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is what the kids call an anime, right?
Quite bizarre.
Cool kids.
So you're it's more reading than watching, but you get the gist.
It's all subbed animes are more reading than watching.
I think
I've heard that.
Oh, go ahead.
I've heard that JoJo gets better with season 2. I haven't personally watched it.
It gets a lot better. Like if you start at part 2, if you start at like part 2, then you'll have a better experience.
What part is part 2?
The season 2 is part 2, right?
You'll find out.
Is that the one with JoJo?
Yankee with Brim is like
Yankee with Brim.
It's part 3.
Oh well.
So
okay. Okay.
It's a funny show. It's a funny show. There's good jokes. I don't know. It gets repetitive.
I personally never got into it.
Well, I'm gonna start.
I haven't touched
Got nothing to do for like 2 months.
Right.
Yeah, true.
I was watching all of the episodes with them going to Egypt, waiting for the May May music, and it never came. I was quite disappointed.
Which brings us to our next point.
Oh, we're
Nice
just gonna skip
segue.
going.
Good
In the
segue.
middle of your binge, you already know you got a snack, right? What's your go-to cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
CTC Cinnamon Toast Crunch, baby.
plain Cheerios.
Henry, I'm gonna have to.
No.
Yeah.
He has a point.
It's
No, he doesn't.
It's honey nut.
Remove Chris.
Henry's got the worst takes in the
You can't
whole
keep doing
podcast.
this.
You have the worst takes in the whole podcast.
No! Oh
Yeah,
my
Henry,
god.
Obviously,
How are you gonna say
Cheerios.
plain Cheerios over honey nut?
Who's watching a TV show and goes, "Ooh, I'm craving some plain Cheerios. Let me go get some."
Me! I'm doing that!
It's honey nut. It's the honey nut. You need the honey nut Cheerios.
I'm Henry.
You
I'm
need
sitting
the
here
honey
not
to make it
understanding
taste
JoJo's
good.
Bizarre
Stop.
Adventure. Let me get me some Cheerios. Some plain, boring Cheerios.
What do you put like a fruit in it?
You put banana in
Oh
there.
my god! Do you start?
I
like,
know.
Here, hold on.
I can
Oh, don't
only
get mad.
start
Just
liking
going,
like plain Cheerios for
bananas are
like
good.
watching something. If you're watching
There's
a
no way you put a
documentary.
whole
Don't way you
banana
put
in
a
your
whole
cereal.
banana in your cereal.
Depends on the
Cut
size
it
of the
off.
bowl.
Come on,
Oh
guys.
my
Don't
God.
slam. You know that.
You think you just take the
Cover.
banana, you peel it, and then you put it in there, just like a hot dog in the bowl of cereal.
We're not going back to hot
Does that
dogs.
make it a sandwich?
Is that a sandwich, Derek?
Or
Is
Lucky
cereal
Charms.
soup?
But you have to eat the Lucky Charms without milk.
It's more of a salad.
But why are plain Cheerios so
It's a
bad?
salad with an overload of
Present
dressing,
your case.
apparently.
Present your
Because
case.
you have so
Plain
many other
Cheerios.
choices.
It's just
Why
like
would
oats.
you go-
There's no flavor.
You're
What's
eating-
the
That's why you add that. No, but like maybe I don't want the flavor.
And what?
Speaking of not wanting the
Don't
flavor,
eat.
we don't want yours.
It lowers cholesterol.
So does honey nut.
Henry, if you're having cholesterol problems at 18, you have problems.
Yeah, you have a few other issues
All
right now,
All right,
bud.
listen. I'm gonna end it right
Look,
here.
look.
I'm gonna end it
No.
right here. Your go-to cereal, like, say you're
Well,
watching a show
I'm listening.
and you've got like forever to watch, right? That means, right, you're going to be eating a lot of cereal, right?
Mhm.
That's why I'm going with Honey Nut Cheerios as the go-to cereal, because
Honey
like
Nut
I could
Cheerios.
eat Honey
Let
Nut
me give you a
Cheerios for a
counterclaim.
full-on year, and it'll.
But
Be
it's not too much sugar, and it's also not bland.
They're a little
Let
too
me give
sticky.
you a
They're a
counterclaim.
little too sticky.
Henry, shut up.
Just ignore him.
No.
Keep going.
No.
Have
the
you
man
tried
speak.
cinnamon
Let the man
frosted flakes?
I'm just not. I'm not a fan. I'll eat regular Frosted Flakes.
You know, Derek.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
can
Frosted
if
Flakes
you're
are
gonna
great,
eat
but, like,
cereal,
sometimes
just
you
eat
need-
the normal one, Derek. Relax. No need to get all
No.
special at the
Cinnamon
gym.
No,
So
that's
if you're
exactly
gonna eat the
like
normal
the
cereal,
that's
eat the
exactly what we're
normal
yelling at
Cheerios.
Henry for. You can't.
After we all
No,
just
Henry, that
bashed
doesn't count.
No, but Honey Nut
Cheerios.
Cheerios are an
We're getting
actual type of
Cheerios.
Cheerio.
Why would you eat
He's
cinnamon
saying
frosted
cinnamon
flakes?
frosted flakes. What are cinnamon frosted flakes?
Why are you eating the ginger of frosted flakes? Just
Yeah, Derek, are those like PX exclusive or something?
No,
I've
they're
never
from
heard of them.
Hannaford.
Oh.
That's
Big
because you live under a
Hannaford
rock,
guy.
Chris.
Okay, Fruity Pebbles.
no.
I was just
No.
about to say.
No.
I actually kind of like Fruity Pebbles.
Once you
I
get them in
have
the
to be
bowl,
Can
feeling
you
it. I have to
get
be feeling
Dylan out of the
listen,
meat
if
because he
you're
likes
if you're
fruity
eating
pebbles?
Fruity Pebbles and it's been
Henry
20
Dylan
minutes,
has not had 5
That's
not
what I
good
agree.
anymore.
That's
in a row.
They're not
I,
good
I'm,
anymore.
Here's the issue,
fiend
though.
for
Is it
hot takes though?
wet cereal or dry cereal? Which do you eat? Because you may have two different ones.
You got to eat dry.
If
You
you're
gotta
like
eat dry.
binging a show, it's dry cereal.
Yeah, if you're binging, it's only dry.
If it's dry cereal, I'm eating Lucky Charms. But if it's a wet cereal, I'm obviously drinking Honey Nut Cheerios.
So if you're
You're drinking
saying
Honey Nut
dry
Cheerios.
and Honey Nut, not you, Brandon, but Paul, were you saying Honey Nut with the dry?
I'm saying, all right, you're putting words in my mouth here, but
Oh, I was asking if that's
I'm
what you
gonna
said.
no.
Asking
I'm gonna
for an
say
opinion.
like
Honey Nut really comes to form once you put it in the milk.
It
Yeah.
hurts. Like if you
it
eat
all comes together.
a lot dry, it'll hurt.
I mean, but
Dylan,
like that's
I
just the
think
name of
you
the
might
game.
just have a personal issue.
Dylan,
A lot
I'm
of
gonna
things.
have to,
You
I'm
also
gonna have to
get
move you to the corner.
cereals you eat.
Does anyone get hurt while eating cereal here? Because I know I don't.
Nope.
Eating cereal.
Never had that issue.
After you've eaten,
Not even I have that problem, and that's how you know like it shouldn't happen.
But the only time you know.
Time is of the essence.
This
This
good.
might
We'll
be
cut
a
us
good
off.
time. This might be a good time to segue into our quick little sponsor.
We don't have a stop. There's no sponsors. We're not cutting it here.
We're also
The only
never.
time,
Raid
the
Shadow
only time
Legends.
you eat dry cereal is if you're sick.
No, false. I will literally go and grab a box of
that's one of the
CTC
worst
right now.
times because then you have
No.
a sore throat.
Ow.
God, worst
No,
take
no.
ever.
If
Drink
you're
water,
sick,
and you
if
will
you're
dry
sick,
Henry,
no, shut up.
You know it's an abomination
If
of
you're
cereal.
sick, yeah, what's an abomination, huh?
Cookie Crisps.
Whoa.
Cookie Crisps are the worst.
Just have a cookie.
Just have a cookie.
Just skip the middleman. Just have a cookie.
You know what else is awful? Bad take, worst take of the night.
I know you can
Cheerios
say
is
it.
the best cereal. Plain Cheerios.
Cheerios are the best
Wow.
cereal. No.
That's a fold. That's a fold, Sir Branford of Foldston.
They're a nice. They're not sweet, and that's the only cereal that I like. If I'm gonna eat a sweet cereal, I'm gonna eat it dry.
There's no shot I throw a banana in there.
There's no shot. I mean,
that's not a tendency to throw a banana in. The snacking tendency
I'm
is
skipping
to
from
grab
plain
the
Cheerios
box
straight
and
to Honey
shove
Nut
your
because
hand
Honey
in and
Nut's the
eat
better
it.
option.
I want the. No, I want.
Right.
I want the.
Hold on. Your back's against the wall. You have
Okay.
two choices: Rice Krispies or Frosted Mini Wheats. What are we?
Oh, frosted
Rice
mini
Krispies.
wheats. Whoa.
How?
Frosted
Oh.
mini. I don't like frosted mini wheats
No
because
way
they
I'm
like
eating
because they
Rice
start
Krispies.
breaking up and then they turn into like all the different little like
They
strings.
don't
of
have enough
Frosted Mini Wheat
frosting
shit.
on them.
I don't like
They
enough
had
frosting.
I don't
better
like
commercials
frosted
than
mini
like
wheats.
other things, or they had
Who
them.
ca- I don't.
At that
I don't
point, it's
care
shredded
about the
wheat.
commercial. I just want good cereal.
Here's the thing: I'm not going to eat.
But it's like eating a block of wheat.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Even I know that's bad.
It's like a
you
wheat
have an
with, like,
opinion, Henry.
pink on it.
Obviously, keep it simple, stupid. Honey Nut Cheerios are the best option.
There's no arguing that.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is still my favorite.
No,
Wow.
it's regular Cheerios because
Yeah,
I'm
shut
not
up.
a fan. Shut
Just-
your mouth.
All right.
You
Do
just
you
mute
drink?
him.
Do you drink the milk
Just because I'm part of
after
the
you're done
counterculture
eating the
doesn't mean I'm
cereal?
wrong.
Do you
Yes.
drink
No.
your milk?
Well, sometimes
What does it taste like?
sometimes
Milk?
I have the milk and I pour myself another bowl of cereal.
Well, yes, it's
Yeah,
common
that's
knowledge.
what you do. But like when you're done, right, and you've just got like a pool of milk in the bowl.
I do drink the milk unless it tastes like gross, wet Cheerios. Then
It
I
depends
won't.
on
Then
the
I'll,
cereal,
then
I
I'll throw it out.
Depends on the
I'm
cereal.
telling you, Cinnamon Toast Crunch leaves cinnamon in the bowl.
Yeah, but then it's just spicy milk.
And it's just cinnamon.
It's not spicy. What are you talking about? Spicy? How are you? Spicy.
Waiting for that.
I don't know.
I'm a
Ask
Honey Nut
Pete
Cheerios
Punch.
guy.
So I heard
I'm a
next week's
huge Honey Nut
podcast we're doing the
Cheerios.
cinnamon challenge.
We got any more topics to segue into, Poorly Paul, or are we just
So,
gonna stick with cereal for the next 6.5 minutes?
Our last fumble through could be. Hold on, let's see here. Oh, shit.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Fuck.
What are your guys' thoughts on? I think it's Space Force, the new TV show coming out from.
I'm in favor.
The Office creators.
That came from my favorite news source at Alec Masick on Twitter.
My favorite news source at Alec
Yeah, this is actually the first I'm hearing of this.
I have
what is
never
this?
heard of Space Force before in my life.
Space
new
Force
show.
is
Steve Carell.
coming to Netflix, starring Steve Carell and many other great comedians.
Isn't it just The Office but with space?
Yes, pretty much.
I don't know. I don't think it will be. I think that's what a lot of people are
Dylan,
going
you're
to
wrong.
No,
expect.
it's going to be like the
objectively
middle
wrong.
seasons of The Office, though.
If you go
Space
into
Force
it
is
like
a
that,
workplace comedy series that centers on a group of people tasked with establishing the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces, the Space Force.
It sounds like
Yes.
The Office, but
Yes.
cooler.
I feel like a lot of people are going to go into it expecting The Office and get disappointed.
I hope they bring back
I
Todd
won't be
Packer
disappointed if
for
it's
like
not.
one episode.
Todd Packer. Oh no.
Todd
Just 'cause-
Packer gets
all right,
stranded in
all right.
space.
Todd's first episode in The Office, drop dead hilarious. Every other episode after that, worn out.
Which one
Yes.
was this first one again?
The one where he first shows up.
I can't remember it.
Yeah, the only person from The Office that's in this TV show is Steve Carell.
Good observation. Thank you for your input.
I think it's got a director from.
Isn't
The
his
Office.
wife in it?
Yeah, I think his wife's in it.
Yeah, she was in The Office for a little bit.
They made Snowpiercer into a show?
If I go to Circa, my favorite news source, Alec Masick, I will probably find the cast list.
Oh, can you DM him and ask?
It's Steve
Not in the budget.
Steve Carell, John Malkovich, Ben Schwartz, Diana Silvers,
Schwartz.
Tony Newsom.
Yeah. Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Schwartz is in like Spaceball, like use the Schwartz.
Yeah, like
Schwartz. Like FAO Schwartz.
And Chris said
bold
space balls, plural.
Yeah, I said Spaceballs, you ball sack.
Space balls with a Z.
Oh, Chris.
Who
come
said
on,
that?
Who said
With that, I
Fuck
will be leaving. Thank
This is
you
a
for having me.
family-friendly podcast, you guys.
Wait, what did I miss?
Thank you to our parent company.
No, stop. We are the parent company.
We are the Knights of the Zoom Table. Thank you all for joining us. Tune in next Friday for our next episode at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, no, that does not go live.
No, it doesn't.
Live stream it.
That's probably when I'll release this one. So
That's unfortunate. I really want to see it tomorrow.
have a good night, everyone.